Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, National Assembly clears the air as Chairman House Committee on Appropriation Abdul Mumin Jibrin says the 2016 budget is not missing. PDP and APC at loggerheads over the continued detention of the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Olisa Metu, and the federal government urges the police to take over territories retaken by the military in the ongoing war against terror. And the suspected suicide bomber kills 10 people, 8 of them German tourists, in the Turkish city of Istanbul.
And on business news tonight, CBN's reversal of foreign exchange restrictions to address management of Nigeria's available resources.
And in sports news, Cross River State confirms its readiness to stage the 19th National Sports Festival in the second quarter of this year.
And from Abuja, I'm Gloria Umezuki. Lassa fever continues to wreak havoc. Health Minister confirms 41 deaths as a result of the disease.
Could it be true that the 2016 budget cannot be located? Well, the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, today met with the President, Muhammadu Buhari, in the presidential villa. The meeting, which held behind closed doors, is coming moments after reports emerged suggesting that the 2016 budget may have been withdrawn from the National Assembly. The meeting lasted for about 30 minutes, and the Senate President refused to talk to the State House correspondents who had already gathered in front of the President's office to know why he was visiting. When asked about the reports that the budget was missing, Dr. Saraki expressed surprise but declined to comment. He quickly rushed into his waiting car without answering the question.
Saying that budget committed to you is missing the National Assembly. Soft and hard copies. What can you tell us, sir?
Is the budget really missing?
Oh, we followed up on that story, and there's no truth to the insinuation that the 2016 budget document earlier submitted to the National Assembly by the President Muhammadu Buhari is missing. Well, that's coming from the Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations, Honorable Abdul Mumin Jibrin. He explained that the stories may have been inspired by the initial insufficiency of the copies of the budget available to all the lawmakers. Honorable Jibrin spoke in an exclusive phone interview with our correspondent Charles Saraki, who began by asking him to confirm if indeed the document is missing.
As far as I'm concerned, that story does not hold water. Yes, of course, the President came and presented the budget. We were expecting copies to be printed and sent to the National Assembly, and there was a bit of a delay. But be that as it may, as of yesterday, I can confirm to you that the Appropriation Committee in the House, we received a lot of copies of the budget. By the time the clerk counted it today, it wasn't sufficient to go around members. And I spoke to the Minister of Planning earlier today, and he assured me that before the end of today, he will deliver the remaining copy, which is just about 100 and something copies. I have a copy. For the soft copy, I also reminded him, and within 15 minutes, he sent it to my office, and I received it personally. And of course, I handed it over to the clerk of the House.
Now, what do you think might have given rise to the rumors about the budget being missing?
I think it's the issue of the delay. Sometimes the budget is printed by the management of the National Assembly, and sometimes the executive usually print it. You should also realize that we have a new government in place. But there's still that little issue of communication gap. They're trying to get themselves settled. And we should be able to excuse them and, of course, support the President wherever there's a bit of a limitation from his own side to ensure that he pushes through all the good intentions that he has. So I think there's been a bit of a delay in printing the budget. So members expected that as soon as the budget is presented, they should have copies. So they didn't have copies. And of course, circulation. But I think that gap has been closed down, and the copies have been sent to the National Assembly.
The People's Democratic Party PDP caucus in the House of Representatives has given the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission 48 hours to release the spokesman of the party, Mr. Olisa Metu, or charge him to court. Well, according to the group led by the minority leader of the House, Mr. Leo Ogo, Mr. Metu has not committed any treasonable offence and should not be detained indefinitely. The caucus adds that the continued incarceration of the party spokesperson violates the law and borders on witch hunt.
Call it a meeting to reinvent the party, and you may not be wrong. It is a meeting of the PDP leadership to inaugurate a constitution review committee. The acting chairman of the PDP, while stating its terms of reference, says the committee is expected to produce recommendations that will reposition the party.
We ask you to use the report of the PDP post-election review committee as a working document. It is a comprehensive document which proposes policy initiatives and constitutional amendments that can serve our purpose of repositioning the party.
However, the country director of the International Republican Institute advises the PDP to pay attention to its campaign guidelines and review its finance regulations.
In view of the recommendations of the PDP post-election review, which identify critical areas for consideration of this committee, some of which include reviewing the PDP campaign organization guidelines, reviewing the party's funding and financial regulations, and reviewing the guidelines for conduct of political parties.
Well, the People's Democratic Party caucus in the House of Representatives has given the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission 48 hours to release the spokesman of the party, Mr. Olisa Metu, or charge him to court. That's coming from the group led by the minority leader of the House, Mr. Leo Ogo. Mr. Metu has not committed any treasonable offences and should not be detained indefinitely. That's according to him.
We are saying that the rule of law must be applied to all and sundry. If any member from APC, if there is any member from PDP, the rule of law should be applied. And we are asking Magu, the AFCC chairman, to urgently release our National Publicity Secretary because it's a bailable offense and it is an allegation unless and until the court of law makes pronouncement. If that is not done, I believe that the EFCC or the chairman of EFCC cannot constitute himself to be an investigative body and at the same time a court of law to pass judgment on individuals. So he should know the limit of his powers as provided by the Constitution. Investigate, take the matters to court where necessary. You can't force anyone. You can only investigate and take such matters to court. It is the court of law that will rule and will pass judgment. And of course, nobody will disobey the court.
In the meantime, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. John Oyegun, has reiterated the party's support for the federal government's anti-corruption drive. Mr. Oyegun notes that the APC will fulfill its campaign promise for change in all sectors of the country. He said this while briefing State House correspondents after a first National Working Committee meeting of the APC in Abuja.
The great work that the administration is doing in the face of very, very intense challenges to tackle these issues and these problems. So we are going away fulfilled, happy that government has substantially plugged the leakages in the system. The APC is not in any way apologetic. We promised change. There's a lot of rot in the system. This must be cleansed. And whichever ox is being God, wherever the tree is going to fall, so let it be. We must get used to the fact that in the process of cleansing this nation, there's going to be a lot of bullets to bite. The APC has not been in office at the national level for the last 10, 16 years. So the issue of whether somebody is PDP or not PDP does not arise.
The APC chairman, Mr. John Oyego. In part 2, after the break, we'll join our Abuja studio for an interview with the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, on the ravaging impact of Lassa fever. Do join us again.